turnovers. Again, then that's just a little casual with the ball, a little trying to make the right play a lot of times. But guys are playing hard. We played a lot of good defense tonight for the most part, and shared it as much as I thought we could.
Questions?
Greg, is Devontae, in terms of his shooting, kind of in that nice area where teams are still kind of playing off of him a little bit, and now he's starting to make them? I mean, 6 of 8 from three-point range. Is that a little bit of what's going on? You know, what do you think the key is?
Well, if you can't get up in him, he's going to go by you. You know, and he's so strong and he's so good at finishing. Teams don't want him to do that. It's just through scouting. Are they going to help from him, or are they going to play off of him? This team tonight was doing an unbelievable job at helping. That's where a lot of our turnovers came, over dribbling and forcing. But you know, he works on a shot every day. You know, he's a better shooter than what people think. Now, is he 6 of 8 every game? You know, that's good for anybody. But when he gets shots, he needs to take the ones when he's open. When you're open, catch it and shoot it, because then people have to guard him, and he will make enough of those for people to have to guard him, and it opens up stuff for everybody else.
His improvement, though, has been pretty clear. Ever since the Southern Illinois game, he's been pretty consistent from three-point range. And even by the standards of somebody you consider a shooter, you know, he's getting to be the reputation of being a shooter at this point.
I mean, you know, practice. When you work on it as much as he does, you're going to get good results. You know, that's what we try to tell these guys. If you want to change something, you know, the only way that we know is to work harder at it. If you're missing free throws, or you're not handling the ball as well as you'd like, Devontae's tougher critic on him than any fan or any coach could ever be. So when he sees people playing off him, when he sees people daring him to shoot, it can play with your mind a little bit, but he wasn't going to let that deter him. He just kept working on it, and people are going to have to guard him.
Coach, the first half numbers are impressive shooting. I mean, 14 of 22, you're 9 of 12 from three-point range. It seemed like the start of the game you tried to establish yourselves on the inside, and you kicked it out on the outside after that. You know, was it just, you know, how the defense was playing, you know, for you guys to do that?
We want to go with Kitch and want to go at Justin, try to get easy baskets and get to the free throw. But their first 2 passes, I think they missed each other by a few feet. But we're making a conscious effort to do that, and that's why you get 3-point shots. Is the ball touches the paint. It doesn't matter if it's your drive or a post feed or what. But Justin, Kitch, TJ as well, those guys can all pass the ball, and if they're going to try to come and help, then obviously it's going to open up things up for somebody else.
Coach, do you feel like your guys are kind of starting to gel and mesh and kind of get the idea of what you're trying to execute and trying to do?
Yeah, but you know, I felt it starting the UMKC game. You know, I think I said earlier, the lights flickering. You can see it a little bit at times, and you rely, and your veterans are stepping up. You know, our good players, our best players, our leaders are playing like they should play and like they have played for us in the past. I mean, you know, now they're in different roles. Rely on them a little bit more, but everybody else is stepping up too. They're stepping up their play. They are understanding what we're trying to do at both ends of the floor, and I think it always been starting ends with defense with us, and we got to clean up rebounding more and continue to take care of the ball. And I feel good about us. I really do, and I know, because I know we're going to get better, and I feel comfortable if we play well, we can beat anybody.
Coach, talk a little bit about Devontae a little more. I know we talked about his points in this game, but just stepping up in a leadership role kind of, and your team really seems to feed off of him a lot of the time.
He's tough. I mean, he's a tough guy. He's a tough player. He's a student of the game. There's no tougher critic. There's nobody more unselfish than Devontae. He'd take having no points and getting a win. He's a really good guy. I go way back to his recruiting visit. It was the best recruiting visit we've ever had. He's such a student of the game. He calmed me down in a couple timeouts today. You know, he's got a great feel of things, and he may not be the most vocal, but you can tell what he's all about. And it's all about his team winning and competing. And he defends. He is the best defender in the league. I mean, he really is, and I hope he continues to get credit for it, because what he's has done and doing defensively is remarkable.
Greg, as good as the shooting was in the first half, the defense, I think, came first between the first media timeout and the last one. And, you know, just talk about the buy-in the team has had in that, because sometimes you can say, well, you hit a few shots and it feeds the defense. Today, you know, I think the defense fed itself.
That's got to be our identity. It's got to be our identity. I thought like you said, after that first at the first media, we had given up 8. We always talk about 7 or below. In the media timeouts, I felt we were kind of letting them dictate what they were doing. a little bit to us, and that's when we just kind of float around and allow them to do what they want to do. We're not very good defensively. We're way too casual. We're a little lazy with it. But when we're disruptive and take things away and get tip balls and help each other, we've gotten a ton better. And since Christmas, we've devoted probably. Lou's always talking about we got to work more on the defensive end in practice. Our offense is pretty good, but we have been doing. We've gone back to the basics and really worked everybody ball screen. So we really work on ball screen D and doing those things. Now, if we can block out and rebound, and finish some possessions, we'll continue to be tough to play against.
Porter said you guys were the most physical team he's seen in the league so far in terms of your defense. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I haven't seen everybody. I certainly don't feel like we are, but we have guys that don't back down. I do know that. They're not afraid to stick their nose in there and fight and hold their ground and make it tough. And it starts with our core guys. They're the ones. Devontae's a physical defender, even though he's a guard. Justin's holding his ground. Kitch, it's hard to move him, and TJ's day by day gets better with it. So that I'll take if he says that. He's probably seen. What did he say? They've seen 8 of the other teams. I think that's 8 of the 10. And we need to continue to do that, but we also need to continue to assert ourselves when the ball goes up too for a rebound.
Do you think some of that is because of the way you defend? Sometimes you get a help defender committing to the guy with the ball, and it takes them out of position for rebounds. I'm not saying that's every single time.
Yeah.
But do you think that's a little bit?
Just thinking about it with his comment, I always talk about trying to be hard to play against. We're getting more difficult to play against. How we've been in the past years, and this team the identity is increasing, being harder to play against than what we were earlier in the year. So that's probably more than being physical. I think it's because we're hard to play against.
Coach, Montel James had a lot of their scoring load today, especially in the first half. But, you look on the stat sheet, he only played 25 minutes. It seemed like he sat for some lengthy periods of time. Was that something that shocked you, or is that something that you look back on through game film and scouting reports, and that's typical?
Well, he's a difficult. He's got guys like Kitchell and Justin guarding him, and he drives it like a guard. He's pretty good at it. But what happens is if you leave him to go help, and we have really good help defenders in Kitchell and Justin and TJ, that he's there to get that offensive rebound pretty easy. That's part of our problem. Our guards got to go down there, stick their nose in there, and block out a big. But it's 2 ends of the floor. And Porter knows his team better than anybody. And maybe it's defensively he wasn't doing what he needed to do. But he did hurt us, particularly in the first half. But when your scouting report is designed to take Devin Turk and not let him get a catch and shoot 3 like we've messed up the last 2 games, we've paid more attention to that.